By Bob E. Temaku. Over 80 Nigerian NGOs, pressure groups working on the thematic areas of climate change and the environment present at the Conference of Parties, COP27 taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, have issued a 7-point statement of demand to oil companies, investors and governments to pay communities for the despoliation and environmental pollution that their exploration actions have exacted on host communities. Innocent Adim Hamria, Program Manager, African Network for Environment and Economic Justice, ANEEJ, who read the joint statement on behalf of the NGOs, said that the Niger Delta region and other areas where fossil fuel extraction is taking place are highly polluted today, thanks to the operations of Shell and other multinational oil companies, leaving the people of the region with little more than sorrow, tears and blood. Tracing the history behind how the activities of the oil companies and multinationals have negatively impacted on host communities, the CSO's statement revealed that in the mid-1990s, the movement for the survival of the Ogoni people, led by Ken Saro-Wiwa, declared that Shell was no longer welcome to operate in Ogoniland, Nigeria. The movement argued that others had grown rich on the oil, while pollution from spills and gas flaring had led to the complete degradation of the Ogoni environment. The CSO's statement said that around the world, there is clear evidence of irreversible damage to the planet, the loss of homelands and the people's livelihood sources, cultures, ecosystems, and more. And it is the communities around the world that have contributed the very least to climate change that are paying the highest price. In the last few weeks, 33 million people were forced by floods to flee their homes in Pakistan, damage that will cost Pakistan $15 billion according to World Bank estimates. Ravaging floods also rendered millions of people across several states in Nigeria homeless, damaging properties worth billions of dollars. In sharp contrast, Shell has already made $30 billion in profits this year, and agreed to pay out $18.5 billion to its investors. The top 7 global oil companies have made $150 billion in profits this year. For far too long, big investors have profited from big oil, allowing Shell and other companies to issue misleading marketing statements while they use their influence to dilute and delay government action to resolve the accelerating climate and human rights emergencies. In 2011, a Dutch court ordered Shell to reduce its emissions drastically this decade, to protect human rights. Yet Shell's investors allowed Shell to defy and appeal the court ruling. The People's AGM platform, established in May 2022 in Lagos, Nigeria, by leaders of community-based organizations from oil-affected communities, faith-based organizations, human rights groups, students, youths, and artisans, agreed specific recommendations for oil companies and their investors. It is clear that powerful oil and gas companies have shown no willingness to make significant changes on their own. In line with the People's AGM platform, and on the occasion of 27 Colombian pesos in Egypt and of the 27th anniversary of the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other Ogoni leaders for their work to challenge oil companies, the 87 signatories to this statement, representing 80 organizations and 7 individuals, therefore make the following calls on governments and on investors in oil and gas companies. Consequently, the CSOs made the following demands and calls on governments and oil companies. I. Offer significant financing for loss and damages for the people of Niger Delta and other host communities in countries affected by the negative impact of fossil fuel extraction and climate change. 2. Introduce and enforce laws to stop oil and gas companies from expanding. 3. End fossil fuel subsidies, and instead tax oil and gas companies to provide money for communities. 4. Additionally, we call on pension funds, insurance companies, asset managers, and all other investors in these companies, starting with those that have any kind of commitment on climate or on net zero, to b. Agree to participate in a fact-finding mission early in 2023 in collaboration with civil society actors to witness the true impact on communities of oil company operations in the Niger Delta. b. Stop lending moral and financial support to companies that are expanding oil and gas production in defiance of the Paris Agreement. 7. Stop promoting flawed nature-based solutions for offsetting carbon emissions, many of which amount to new carbon colonialism. 8. Pay communities for the cleanup of land degraded by oil and gas extraction. VIE. Agree that oil companies must make loss and damage payments. Signatories included the following: 21st Century Community Empowerment for Youth and Women Initiative, SEWI. Advocacy for Youth's Empowerment and Development, AYED. Africa Climate Movement of Movements. African Indigenous Foundation for Energy and Sustainable Development IFS. Africa Network for Environment and Economic Justice, ANEEJ. Ansvarlig, Fremted, Denmark. Bank. Track, BIPOC Climate Justice Network Germany. Black Earth Climate Collective Germany. Both ends. Brighton and Hove Friends of the Earth. Campac Center for 21st Century Issues. Center for Citizens Conserving Environment and Management, CSIC. Center for Transparency Advocacy. Chesterfield Climate Alliance. Christian Fellowship and Care Foundation. Tisha Malawi. Climate Action Leicester and Leicestershire. Community Alliance for Good Governance. Community Empowerment and Development Initiative. Community Outreach for Development and Welfare Advocacy, CODWA. Commonweal, Derbyshire Climate Coalition, Derbyshire Dales Climate Who. Divest Brent. Entrepreneurship Initiative for African Youth, IFE Africa. Earth Regenerative Project Nigeria. Edinburgh Climate Coalition. Electra Energy Cooperative, Greece. El Moussa for Development and Participation, Egypt. Extinction Rebellion, Germany. Extinction Rebellion, Indonesia. Eyes on the Environment Initiative. Fahim to Women and Youth Development Initiative. Fossil Free West Yorkshire. Fossielverge NL. Foundation for Environmental Rights, Advocacy and Development, FENRAD, Nigeria, Gender and Development Action. German Coalition for Ecocide Law, Buendes Ecosigesets. Global Justice Bradford. Grassroots Advocacy Center for Economic Development, GRACED, Herd Consulting. Initiative for Social Development in Africa, ASODAF. Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, JONAPUD. Quebec Cake Women Development and Resource Center, Keen and Care Initiative, KCI, Laudato Si Movement, Africa. League of Queens International Empowerment, Mangrove Forest Conservation Society of Nigeria, MFCSN Millwater Partners GmbH, New Apostolic Center for Development, NCD, New Forest Friends of the Earth. Obel Concerned Citizen. Ogoni Solidarity Forum Nigeria. Watch Africa. Osazuwa Akanido Limited. Plataforma Mocambacana de Mulher e Rapariga Cooperativistas /AMCM. People and Planet. Policy Alert. Publish What You Pay International. Publish What You Pay, PWYP, Nigeria. Rural Initiative for Change, RIC. Raise 'em We Stand. RUL. Shell Slies. South Durban Community Environmental Alliance. Switch It. The Green Connection. The Sunrise Project. Tidy Stourbridge. Transition Crutch. Unison. Uplift. Urgewald. Women Initiative on Climate Change. Wow Wales One World Film Festival. Individual signatories include the following: Gwen Vardigans, UK, Judy White, UK, Madeline Bailey, Anis Martha, Nigeria, Peter Lauterbach, Richard Ramsden, UK, Ruth Lambert, UK. At Views Exclusive Rights, Bob Njiri Ogane E. Temaku, November 16, 2022. Greater than view this post on Instagram. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than a post shared by ANEEJ, at ANEEJ_Nigeria. Greater than view this post on Instagram. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than a post shared by ANEEJ, at ANEEJ_Nigeria. Greater than view this post on Instagram. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Greater than a post shared by ANEEJ, at ANEEJ_Nigeria.